age of entitlement is over.
Have you had to ask for help?
Yes, I have.
What's it like when you make that decision that you just can't keep going, you do need to get help?
At first, I felt embarrassed.
There's a lot of doom and gloom around the government changes, and that's going to flow through in terms of what people can afford.
There's no sugarcoating it. The recent state and federal budgets contained dire news for our senior citizens. Power, water and gas bills will go up, and the concessions pensioners like Stephen Patrick count on to make ends meet are under imminent threat.
When you were working and healthy and all the rest of it, did you think you'd ever be in a situation where you were having to ring Vinnie's and say, I need some help with something?
Never even crossed my mind.
And what would you do without an organisation like that now?
Could be on the street. Could be in a pine box.
It's that delicate a situation, is it?
Yeah.
We're seeing a change in terms of what they're asking for too. We're seeing a lot more support in terms of rent support and bill support than we've ever had before.
This is the most critical time of the year for charity St Vincent de Paul as they embark on the annual winter appeal for donations. Chief Executive Mark Fitzpatrick says the latest budgets have ensured it's never been so bleak.
At the state level, the increase in utilities such as power, water, the increases in transport costs and registration costs, particularly for people on fixed incomes such as those on the age pension, it makes it really, really hard for them. And so we'll see that come through, transpire into the people demanding services from us.
Can you keep up?
It's pretty hard. We hope we can.
The WA Council on the Ageing has estimated that full or part pension recipients could lose about $1,000 a year while trying to cope with the cost of living increases. A rally being held tomorrow morning in the Perth Town Hall is even making news in Canberra.
No props.
Pensioners will be protesting against the Prime Minister's cuts.
The Leader of the Opposition will put the prop down. We do not have props.
Okay.
87-year-old Chum Taylor can't understand why the vulnerable and elderly are being punished.
What would you say to Joe Hockey if he was sitting opposite you now after delivering that federal budget?
Well, he doesn't know what he's talking about and he's never had it hard. If he'd been brought up the hard way, he'd realise that, he's making the elderly suffer.
But then there's times there where I've had to pay a bill and gone without food. I mean, my neighbour here's just had his gas cut up because of his bill.
How does that work for him?
He comes here to have a shower and I cook a meal up for him.
Pensioners like Chum Taylor say they've worked their whole lives, paid their taxes, and now all they want is a fair go.
I think after the first and next month, when all the budget's on the table, you'll find out how much it's going to affect the elderly.
Politicians aren't going to be in the same, they're not in the same boat.